tu lah, brightness, contrast, apa benda yang berkaitan dengan monitor lah. Layan boleh dekat kuat pandai. Orang tak lihat cakap pasal kita bukannya pemenang ni. Jarang-jarang yalah baru lagi lah, tapi kalau dah lama dah selalu buat, dapat dah. Ada. Oh, ada. Tapi dia pun kena ingat cara itu macam kata saya edukasi tu buat dulu. Edukasi. Dia kan kalau take kamera kita kan, dia boleh dekat kita tengok lah. Kami dengar gitu.
Welcome back to the Sepang International Circuit for the Malaysia Championship Series. Herzlich willkommen, meine Damen und Herren. No, I'm not actually speaking German because I'm actually in Germany, but we're now down here at the Petronas Sepang International Circuit for the race that everyone's been waiting for, the Malaysia Championship Series, Race 2, Round 1. And thank you so much for all of you fans who are watching us, wherever it is that you may be. You're watching this live stream down at our YouTube page as well as our Facebook page as well. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I believe that you are all waiting, looking forward to all of the excitement that's going to be happening here on the sacred track of the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. As you may already know, the format that has been introduced earlier in round 1, we're going to have 2 classes for the first race down here, which is the MTC class as well as the SP2 class, whereas later in the afternoon we're going to be having the TP class as well as the SP1 class. So a lot of things are going to be happening down here, but we also want to share with you guys some tidbits in which that it is very important that everyone down here do follow the rules, do respect the race, and do follow the important people who are making sure that everybody is in the very best position possible. And one of the people who are very important as well are the marshals. Hence why we're down here together with one of the marshals. Hi, nama apa?
Emira.
Emira. Okey, saya nak cuba tanya Emira kat sini kan. Emira, dah lama ke jadi marshal dekat Sepang Circuit ni?
Boleh dah lama lah daripada start tahun lepas.
Baik, dan bagaimanakah pengalaman Emira untuk jadi marshal? Best ke, penat ke, panas ke, macam mana?
Best jugalah, tapi kena hadap lah. Panas, penat, hujan, semua saya okey je lah.
Okay. Tapi sebenarnya kalau Emira dah jadi marshal ni, Emira memang peminat suka pemotoran tanah air.
Ya, betul.
Okey. So siapakah favourite driver Emira sendiri? Tak kisahlah kalau MCS ke, kalau suka-suka kalau lain-lain ke?
Kalau MTS saya lebih suka The Art lah.
Oh, okey. Memang follow lah.
Memang follow diorang lah.
Memang follow
Follow lah kiranya.
Okey. So lepas ni tak nak jadi marshal lah, nak jadi orang yang dekat dengan driver lagi lah. Tak nak. Okey, apa-apa pun bagi pihak semua orang kami ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Emira dan juga para marshal sebab tugas yang terbaik yang Emira lakukan. Terima kasih. Alright, that's actually from one of our marshals. Again, very important that we listen to these people who are in orange because they make sure that all the racers as well as the spectators are following all the safety rules and whatnot. Alright, so that's it from me down the track. So let's jump off to our commentators. Let's listen from Nick and also another brother who's been missing since round 1. We've definitely missed you. Another brother of mine who's also shiny as well. Jeev, miss you, man.
Mio, my old friend, how are you doing? I have been MIA. MIA, that's the only way I can say it, but in a good way because I've a very hectic schedule. But as I said to Mio earlier as well, if I can make Malaysia Championship Series after 8 years of being in the commentary box, and it's a labor of love. It's an absolute passion for me to come and to watch Malaysia's National Touring Car Championship, which has, as Mio said, has just got bigger and bigger and bigger over the last couple of years. Sitting in the commentary box with me is the man that took you through round 1, and that is Nicholas Anil. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm good, Jeev. Glad to be here. Pleasure to be back alongside you. Like Mio mentioned, we missed you, but looking forward to doing these comms with you. We've had a great round 1. I'm sure you watched the races. The new format has brought about a new sense of excitement and anticipation, and I'm sure we'll have that in abundance today as well.
Yep, absolutely. There is a new format. There have been plenty of formats as we watch the cars just making their way out onto the grid on sunny conditions here at the Sepang International Circuit. Over the last 13 years, because this really was set up in 2011 when it was called the Malaysian Super Series. There have been a number of formats that have been in action, and the most regular one is, of course, Race 1 and Race 2. They were 1-hour races on Saturday and Sunday. During the pandemic times, it turned into a little bubble format so that you'd have maybe 2 races on Saturday and Sunday. But now, and simply because so many competitors and entrants have now signed up and joined Malaysia's premier national touring car championship, and sponsors as well, like Hankook. There's a new Tyre distribution deal with Hankook, which are really glad to have this year. But all of these teams that you're watching come out of the pits right now, so many cars, it was just not feasible, because safety is always the paramount concern at the racing circuit, of putting 102 cars on a grid, right, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it was a great headache for the organizers to have this many participation.
Oh, what a
And
problem.
What a problem, right? For them to then really look at the safety aspects and decide to just really segregate the format, and it worked wonders. We are seeing a much more concentrated quality race, and again, this season it has defied expectations because last week we had 68 entries.
Well, also, don't forget there's a lot of other things happening at the Sepang International Circuit. That's, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, Open Track Day. Bring your car up here and just be, mindful of speed limits, but do have a good experience. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to get on, as Mio put it, a sacred track like the Sepang Circuit. Book online now at sepangcircuit.com, which is the official page. And don't also forget, that is the biggest race of the year, and it just keeps getting bigger every year. And look at that, 20% discount to come and see the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia 2024. That's going to be happening in November. Also, get your tickets right now at sepangcircuit.com. So, Nick, you were saying 68 cars, and that was just in MTC and SP2?
Yes, indeed. It was a full-fledged lineup, and we had a magnificent field of entries. Really, it encompassed the participation, and it wasn't just concentrated to the local drivers. We saw plenty of drivers from Indonesia, from India, from Pakistan. Again, it's a testament to this Malaysia Championship Series that keeps growing in stature.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has turned into a bit of a regional, if not fully international, tournament championship. And as I said, with touring cars, that means that these are the cars that you and me and Nick, everybody else drives ourselves on the streets of Malaysia and Asia. Tweaked up a little for race conditions, of course, because you do have to meet a specific kind of standard if you're going to get onto the track. But lots and lots of cars, so it's been split up now into MTC, SP2G, and SP2V. That's the 50-minute plus leader race, one on Saturday and one on Sunday, getting back to the format. And then Touring Production SP1, the bigger engine cars, the bigger saloons, they're out for 30-minute sprint races. And I think the second race, so round 2, race 2, which would be TP SP1, is happening at 2:15 local time
indeed.
today. Yeah, and we'll keep you updated as to when. Of course, that's going to be happening tomorrow as well. Still 4 rounds in the season. The first round was beginning of May. This is round 2. Third round will be 9th to 11th of August, and round 4, which is usually a doubleheader finale, to have both races kind of ran together to as almost a semi-endurance race on the 6th to 8th of September. So put those dates down into your calendar, and as you can see, the drivers now getting ready. And that looks like Mio doing his thing, and he's going to be right in their faces soon. High Rev Dream Chaser team, very successful team from round 1.
Yeah, indeed.
Right,
they
guys,
had a podium finish.
Down here at row 1, at P1, we got... Wait, let me just check the car. The car looks different. We got Hayden Haikal down here in a different car. Hayden, what's up with that?
Yeah, new team for this year's MCS. But, obviously we have the same goals. And yesterday's qualifying proved that we still could be in front. And But, the competition is a lot tighter now.
All right.
And yeah, this year they've BOP'd the Swift a lot.
Right.
We have, I think, 60 kilos or a bit more. But, either way, we still managed to qualify ahead of the rest.
Yeah.
And our goal is, obviously to win the race.
Yeah, again, different car, but still the same kind of result. You got P1 through qualification, so this is literally SOP for you.
I mean, I don't know how to say it, but the team did a good job on preparing the car for me, and my teammate Wai Chong as well. He's been doing very good for the past year, and they've decided to team me up with Wai Chong.
Okay.
And yeah, hoping that after the start, pull away, pass car to Wai Chong, win the race.
And the fact that you have your arch rival, if I may say so, just to the left of you. Granted, he's in PU. You got Mitch in your old car. So, any best words? Any good wishes for him? Or it's race on?
I mean, no good wishes, because, yesterday I heard that his teammate was talking a lot. But,
All right.
yeah, I mean, we just proved that we were faster than them, and now it's just win the race.
Just win the race. All right, good luck to you, Hayden. Wish you all the best. So, interesting indeed, Jeev and Nick.
Well, this is what happens when you have more cars and you have more teams,
Cheers, man.
and of course you have a lot more opportunities for drivers. Hayden Hankook, definitely one of the fastest drivers on track that we've seen at Sepang for the last few years. Now switch teams, but a good switch to go to High Rev Dream Chaser.
Oh yeah, definitely. We all remember the rivalry he had with Michel Chia last year. It was one of the iconic rivalries of the Malaysia Championship Series. And I believe that Hayden Haikal is making his debut in this 2024 season, and it'll be really interesting to see how he fares with his new team.
Well, he was talking just then about the different weights. Of course, it's all about power to weight when it comes to touring cars. As we get a great look down the grid, and that looks like it's still about 10 minutes away at least from the race, which gives us lots of time to get back down to the grid. And Mio is with that man, Mitchell Chow.
Okay, now I'm down here at the P2 position again. Funny looking car, different kind of car, but different kind of driver as well. We got Mitchell Chia down here in a wing-hin car. Okay, again, same question that I've actually threw to Hayden. What's up with that, man? Why this change of strategy this time around?
You know, I have to further think of my career into racing.
All right.
So far I'm very happy being here, and I just want to race.
All right. Does that mean that Wing-hin actually has a better car in comparison to High Ref, basically?
No, I won't say. I say that everyone has built a different machine,
All right.
and it's all equally good in different ways. So when everyone is equal, there's much more better competition. You know, we're having so much more fun rather than just leaving one another away from each other.
All right.
Yeah.
Very diplomatic answer there from our, one of our best racers down. Okay, I do need a response from you because again, we literally just spoke to Hayden and he said that, whatever it is, he's still at the front of the pack. He's ahead of you. So, that's how he does his talking. So, any response to that?
I mean, we're just here to race. We're in a brand new car. A lot of work to do, but putting it in second by Nakib yesterday, I think is a very good start for a brand new car.
All right.
So we're just here to race and do our best for the team and see what this new machine can do.
Again, not a definitive answer, but I'm still going to push it out from you. Are you going to beat him?
Yeah, we'll try our best for sure.
Try? Really try?
Of course, the aim is to win,
Okay.
but we'll see what it takes to get there.
All right, whatever it is, good luck to you, Mitch. Have a great race ahead. All right, Jeev, Nate, we're going to see this drama unfolding throughout the whole season, man.
Absolutely. This is a fantastic start to round two, to have all of these stories evolving. And of course, these are long racing rivalries that have been set up over many, many years. That's the one thing about the Malaysia Championship Series. It is just such a tight community of drivers and cars and teams. Now, of course, as you can tell, they're switching between teams, but they have all raced against each other for so many years that these are interesting and compelling stories indeed. So, as they get closer and closer to the start of the race, obviously there were two races in round one, and I do urge you to get onto the social media sites and the official Facebook page, and of course YouTube as well, to catch up that race if you didn't manage to find out what was going on. But I can tell you that there are some stories just from the results alone, and that is that Putra Adam was on the podium in MTC for race one and race two in round one. Leon Koo actually hit two different podiums in two different categories, SP2G and TP, both for our engineering. In SP2V, Stuart Hine from Axel Sports also made two podiums, a second and a third spot, round one, race one and race two. And most valuable driver from the last few years, Johnny Z, only made one podium. That was in touring production. So Scuba Racing Team are going to look to pick themselves up. And of course, probably the biggest story, Kusei Kanto from R-Works in SP1 with a double. That's the famous circuit that they're going to be racing on. 5.543 kilometers, 15 corners, and longest straight of just under a kilometer. That's where it is really fast in the middle of the circuit, and then of course it radiates out, but some very fast corners on the outside as well. Very slow corners like 9, 10, and 11. But all in all, it is the full track. Usually this track can get split into the north and south track, but for MCS, everything's open, Nick, all the time.
Made for a wonderful racing because you have lesser cars on track, so we could see much more concentrated battles But like you mentioned earlier, Putra Adam and Avila Baha, man, those guys were the standout. The duo from the Honda Malaysia racing team who won that round 2 of race 1 by a whopping 20 seconds. So I think
Wow,
they have set
yeah.
the tone, they've set the pace. They're definitely the combination to beat once again.
So 3-minute board up now, and that's rather swanky looking safety car at the front now, decked out in beautiful Hankook livery. We'll be heading off soon for the formation lap. But yes, I've seen a lot of teams that have made an impact. ST1, and I noticed they might be at the back of the grid here, but I've noticed that they're back, Singaporean team that did dominate for a while. I remember they had that great Mercedes that was brought in. But High Rev Dream Chaser is another one. Our works to look up for, as you said, Nick. Honda Malaysia has had good results. Bay Racing also through Eddie Liu in SP2G. They picked up a win. So a lot of teams that are vying. It's not just a 1 or 2 horse race, and that's always good to see. Leicester Neo, well, that isn't going to be Leicester in the car, I don't think. But once again, there is a driver change. 2 drivers to each of these teams. Well, some are, of course, driving solo. So there will be a compulsory pit stop between the 25th and 40th minute. That's got to be 3 minutes, and it's got to be, well, stuck to pretty efficiently, because race control is watching, and they're going to be watching absolutely everything, including your pit stop time. So really, the strategies for each of these races is going to be based around that. When you pit, if you pit in early, if you pit in late, it can give you a different advantage. And of course, if you get your pit strategy just right and you stay out of trouble, and trouble is not that easy to avoid in a Malaysia Championship Series race, is it?
Indeed, you know, the pit stop, like you mentioned, that pit stop really changed the dynamics of the race.
Because everyone comes in at the same time.
Everybody comes in, it's a major traffic jam, you know. You may have the lead when you come in, but when you get out on your out lap, you won't be surprised to find yourself down the pecking order, and that's what happened in the first race.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how things will transpire in that 15-minute window when it happens. From the 25th minute till the
40th minute.
40th
Yeah,
minute,
as I said,
exactly.
and there will be a warning or adjudication, like determination, I guess, from race control early on to let them know exactly when that's happening. So you have a general idea of what your strategy is. It's the fine-tuning that comes into it. Absolutely perfect racing conditions here on Saturday morning, and you can see the sun is just coming over the grid. That's the darker side of it. And they're about ready for the formation lap now. Race control has the option, of course, of keeping these formation laps either solitary or adding up to 3. In fact, they can, just to make sure, especially with such a large amount of cars on the grid, that they are all in good formation for the rolling start. That is one of the traditions of MCS as they come around turn 15.
Like you mentioned, Jeev, weather has played a crucial part in so many races.
It was raining in round 1, right?
It was gloomy. Thankfully, it didn't pour heavily. And this week, we have pristine racing conditions.
Well, let's just go through some of the things. I mean, it was 34 degrees track temperature in round 1. There was that huge amount of cars. There was a full course yellow in the middle of it.
Indeed.
And then it ended on a red flag on
It ended
lap
on a
13.
red flag because of two collisions right at the end, which was unfortunate. Of course, we are always hoping for perfect racing conditions. But like you mentioned earlier, these things can't be told beforehand. It is part of the Malaysia Championship Series.
Yeah, sure. And this is the starting grid. And the High Drive Dream Chase on top with Lee Wai Chong, Mitchell Chia and partner from Wing In 2.
Putra Adam, Avila Baha, your table toppers from the previous race in 3rd place. Nabil, Amir Harris in 4th place. Rahul Raj in 5th.
So Go Lee Heng, Hugh Koi Sen, Gladys Lim and Ronnie Risman in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th.
Adam Mikal in 11th. Kwek Kian Wee in 12th. Chin Eng Timothy Yo in 13th place, Yip Kian Hong in 14th, Lester Neo is in 15th, Inigo Anton in 16th, Lau Ken Jun in 17th, and Wong Yu Chong in 18th place.
And as we move on in this big grid, Teo Hong Zhou, Bi Sun, Justin To, Alvin To, Akila Chandra in 23rd, and Said Mohammed Rizmal in 24th.
In 25th, we have Azril Azhar, followed by Kusi Kanto in 26th, Peter Chong in 27th, John B 28th, Daniel Reno in 29th, and Leon Hu is in 30th place.
So getting into SP2s and SP2Vs now, Lawrence Lim, Najib Ismail, Wen Cheng, Bernard Chan, Stuart Hine from Axel Sports, and William Chong from R-Works take us up to 36.
Continuing in the SP2 is Li Wei Cha from 37th place, Danny Chen in 38th place, Jinesh Kuraj in 39th, David in 40th, Shafiq Shamsuddin in 41st, and Edwin Yo in 42nd place.
Now, Leona Chin is back in MCS Racing in 43rd, Laurel Vicky in 44th, Blau Seng Kiat, Louis Liu, Nico Civelli, and Alan Tiao take us up to 48. And I think both of us are waiting for another page because it looks like the grid is never ending these days with Malaysia Championship Series. You could keep going on and on and on. So many cars to deal with. I remember the years, this is pre-pandemic, where, you know, 20, 30 cars would be it, but so many motoring enthusiasts and teams that have been set up now in Malaysia, just using the potential of this wonderful Petronas Sepang International Circuit, which is world-renowned. Every big-name racer that you can think of in the world has maybe raced on it. That's all the F1 drivers, of course, but wants to race on it.
Indeed. So let's get some predictions in, Jeef. What do you think is going to transpire? I see Hayden Heikal's back. I see Mitchell Chia is also there. You know, these two guys are probably in top contention, but not forgetting Avila Baha, Putra Adam, who won the last race. What are your picks?
High Rev Dream Chaser in round 1 did very well in both races, and that is that kind of consistency. Liu Wai Chong in the first race, Rahul Raj in the second race. Putra Adam, I would never ever write out, full stop. I don't care whether he's 12 years old or 25 years old or whatever, he's so fast. And of course, Nabil Aslan as well, that's in MTC. SP2, I'm expecting Eddie Liu, very experienced driver here at Sepang, to come through. Leon Koo also, because he's now bridging different gaps. Now, here we come for the first half, which is the MTC category. The lights go green and they are off. And as you said, Nick, very clear track for them to aim at. No more bunching up at turn 1. And High Rev Dream Chasers, you can see that distinctive yellow and black livery. Wing Hin just behind them as they push into turn 1. And everybody nicely through there from MTC.
Lesser cars make for a cleaner start.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the race clock starts up at the top of your screen, this is SP2 G and V. Slightly bigger grid. And they are ready to go. A lot of Honda Fits, Honda Jazzers, Suzuki Swifts in there as well. And now this has to be a little bit more careful as they get into turn 1, because as you can see, there's a few more cars. Just a few.
Just a few more. And from experience, turn 1 itself provides the first obstacle.
And I can just tell you all, I hope that's not CGI. A lot of people, you know, that's the kind of shot that they look for. This is all real. It's a fantastic. Well, they've all come through very nicely on turn 1. As I said, perfect conditions today for racing.
Real confident start made by the entire pack. And it was the same case during the first race as well.
A little bit of a clip there right at the back, but then there's always one, really. And as expected, High Rev Dream Chase already settling themselves in nicely at the top. When you have such a big pack like this, it's so beneficial to have clear air ahead of you, and you can actually pick your racing line unhindered without somebody else being in front of it. Wing Hin Motorsport settling into second. And soon our timing computers are going to come into life as soon as they get back onto the front straight. I can tell you that Li Wai Chong, well, that's Hayden Heikel in there, he's in the car, has already put in 2 really fast sectors, 34.6 and 44.4. 2 of the 4 sectors, so roughly 4 corners each here at Sepang. Gives a good running estimation as to exactly how fast they're going. So back at turn 15, and This is where the real information drops in. As soon as those transponders get past the start line, we get our first times, 2:34, 2:34, 2:35, and 2:36 for the top 4, and that's Hayden Heikel. The Wing In Motorsports double, 39 and 36 car, and then Putra Adam just behind them.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how Hayden Heikel acclimatizes himself to this high-ref Dream Chaser.
New car.
Yeah, coming off the Wing In Motorsports, I think last season.
I think the biggest acclimatization he's got to make is the fact that he used to see that car in front of him last year and was probably thinking at times, wow, that car's really fast.
Indeed.
And now he's in the car, he's thinking, let's see how fast this car can go. And ironically, he has to look in his rearview mirror and see the car he used to drive. And that's the kind of story that's evolving this season. But it's good to see them. I mean, that happens so much in motorsports that you can get to poach these drivers. Now, that had to happen, especially, I think that's turn 14, right at the start of the back straight. Too many cars getting around that line. As you can imagine, with so many cars trying to push in on one racing line.
Yeah,
no
you're
two
right.
objects
Hayden Heikel's made a good start. They posted 3 of the 4th fastest sectors. So really getting themselves warmed up. But no surprise, Jeff, to see High Ref Dream Chaser and Wing In Motorsports in the top 2.
No, and when this was a combined race, and the touring production and SP1 were in front of them, this was still happening. Except it was round about the 10th or 11th spot based on the power weight ratios of these Suzuki Swifts against the big Honda Civic FD2Rs that make up touring production. It's no contest in terms of straight line speed, but I have to say that the cornering speed of these small hatchbacks is far, far greater. So good to see them up front. As I said, it really helps the racing to have this new format. I know it's been well received by the fans as well, and do leave your comments on the official Facebook stream, or straight up send it to sepangcircuit.com. That's Daim Hashimudin, who is actually on your screen, but that's not Li Wai Chung's partner right now. Hayden Heikel is up there, but he was beforehand. So, but that's one thing you have to understand about these driver combinations. They are very tricky sometimes, these teams. These teams here are very, very tricky, and they will turn the driver changes around, or the driver selections around, right at the last minute. Of course, we get the 2 names that, as we knew it, were in the car.
The names that we've been accustomed to.
Yes. So, you know, we try and I said, if we get any updates, believe me, you get the updates immediately as well. But right now, we know Hayden Heikel's in that car, because that was not CGI. That was not made up.
Wasn't. Yeah.
He was sitting in the car, and he was ready to race and ready to rock, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. He's now clipped 2:32.042, and that's onto his 2nd lap. Generally speaking, these cars will lap around. That's a pretty fast lap. That's a dry track. It's a hot track. But I could see them getting down to about 2:30 today.
We've seen them go slightly faster, haven't we? 2:26,
Actually,
but that's
no,
in qualifying,
2:26 is TP. The touring productions in the SP1s, I've seen Mark Darwin, very fast driver around here, get down to a 2:24. Jonathan Seals,
Yeah,
2:25 as well. So that's the kind of the fastest benchmark you're going to get when it gets to lap times. For these MTC cars, SP2V and SP2G, 2:30. If it's a really good day, 2:29, I reckon. But I'm happy to be corrected on that. If Hayden Heikel is listening and thinking, you know what, I'm going to break that. Just be safe, Hayden. Well, we've had a little bit of damage there already. Somebody's losing a mirror. And in congestion like this, you've got to ask yourself, that's probably going to get changed.
It's probably a result of the car veering wide in turn 14 earlier.
Yeah.
We saw
So a little bit of contact. There weren't that many DNF. There were a couple in round 1. But
Yeah,
there weren't
correct.
That many.
Most
Bay
of them
racing.
transpired towards the end, but it started off really well.
So coming up to turn 5 now, and again, High Rev Dream Chaser, Wing In Motorsport, 1-2. So Mitchell Chia in
This
third.
was what we were referring to earlier.
Yeah, there you go. A little bit of a bump and grind at the turn 14. And a little bit of dust as well. That's not good for the wheels, obviously, as it's going to leave a Nice dust layer on there. There was also an oil spill in round one, wasn't there? Oil spills, full course yellows, red flags, sudden rainstorms, and a lot of concerned team members watching this broadcast because they want to make sure that their car is getting around, not just at the pace that it's capable of, but safely, and it doesn't take up any hits. So coming into 9 and 10 now, that's the Scuba Racing team, and that should be Kwek Kianwi, who is currently in 11th, but topping SP2G. So that is our SP2G right now.
Yeah, and he's with Jonathan Z, who's really, I think, out for redemption this weekend. Didn't really have the best of races, and he made his 2024 season debut last year, last month.
Yeah, he's such a fast driver as well. And it's, as I said, he doesn't like to go slowly. And if something goes wrong, and something has gone wrong, as you said, then he likes to get that fixed as soon as possible. Bright sunshine here at Sepang as we just hit the first 10 minutes of this race. So our leaders right now, while Li Wai Chang, or Hayden Heichel, sorry, well, I should actually go by car. Hydrev, Team Chaser, 2 Wing Hin Motorsports in the top 3 of MTC. It's Scuba Racing team from R Engineering and TD Racing in SP2G. SP2V, Bay Racing once again. Up front, DV Motorsport, that's Divyash Parajan's team. And Axel Sports, Stuart Hine in 3rd in SP2V. So those are our top 3. And so far, it's just Bay Racing team, that 805 car that is still clocked in as being on its outlap. So we may have had a non-starter on that front.
There is a little bit of a lead developing, but nothing too significant that the chasing pack should be concerned about.
Yeah. So there is the stat roundup for Hayden Heichel right now. And he seems to be enjoying that car, but as I said, it's perfect conditions today.
And it's been a great atmosphere. When we were walking in, you know, we saw such vibrant scenes, families coming to cheer their loved ones.
Because of the birth of streaming, and that's happened obviously now for 8 years with Malaysian Championship Series. I was here right at the start for that. It's a different experience now. A lot more people get a lot more information by getting onto a live stream. Obviously, we'd love people to make their way up to the Petronas circuit and come and see and feel and you smell the petrol and the old motorsports ways. But it's becoming such a visual sport. You know, so many people are watching it. That's a bit of a wide line from 2 cars going around turn 1. That's actually Mitchell Chan and Putra Adam both. I hope that's Putra Adam in that car. We didn't get to speak to him, but 36 and 27.
Coming off a great first race, Putra Adam and Avila Baha.
Well, he had a double finish, didn't he?
Yeah, 3rd place in the first race, and they took top spot in the second
And
race.
that's why in the official standings right now, and I know it is early on in the season, but when you've only got 4 races in the season, think about it, we're actually coming up to halfway
stage
in the season. Putra Adam is on top with 10 and 15 points, standard touring car point system in effect for the Malaysian Championship Series. And if you didn't know what that is, it was 15 points for a win, and then 12 and 10 and 8, and it goes all the way down to 1 point. But really what you want to get is top spot and get a full 30 points from the weekend. So he got 25 points. Rahul Rajmaya from High Rev Dream Chaser got in 2nd place and is tied right now with Fariz Fauzi, and this is for MTC. In SP2V.
Ooh, there was a little collision over there that happened.
Oh yes, there was. Oh, just trying to get an edge
track.
on
Trying to get
exactly
your
who that was, but are we going to get a full course yellow? Has anything dropped on the track?
Haven't seen a flag go up just yet.
No, as I said, if it's not a direct threat to the racing line, then they might try and take care of it and keep the race going. But they are super careful when it comes to this stuff, I can tell you. So as I was going through it, in SP2V, it's William Chong, Stuart Hine, and Li Chi-hua, the top 3 positions in the points standing after round 1. And SP2G, it is Sun Chu Po, Yip Kian Heng, and Teo Hong Zhou. And in touring production, Leon Koo, Roy Tang, and Daniel Ren Uy. And as you said, Jonathan Z in 5th spot right now.
We have developments, Jeev. Mitchell Chia and Nakib Azlan, Wing Hin Motorsports are in pit, so there must be some car issues that have transpired.
Well, that certainly is in the pit window. In fact, we haven't even been told when the pit window is starting yet, but it's way too early, which means, yes, there is something going on. And that is an emergency pit stop that will be counted as their first pit stop as well. Well, sometimes, especially the one thing that has affected the computer system, the racing results system around here, has been the sheer amount of cars that have signed up over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
transponders all over the place. And so sometimes, if you do get a very strange result, then it might be worth just waiting a couple of laps to see if that settles down. We're on lap 5 now. And based on the first outing of this brand new format, well, it was 13 laps in that first race last round, and that equates just about right to these times. So 2:46 is around the kind of times they were running when it was a combined race. But as you see, Hayden Heikel up front is going much faster than that right now. Well, so, as I said, some very strange results coming out on our timing computers, because it says that Mitchell Chia put in a 2:17.
Yeah.
And
I'm trying to compute that, and if he was doing 2:17, he'd be already having a comfortable lead in front.
He might be seeing Jeff Bezos up in space if he's doing a 2:17 in this car. I mean, that is, you'd have to get your calculators out and your little piece of paper, because that might be physically impossible for that car to do 2:17. I've never seen, I'm going to stick my neck out and say right now, I've never seen an MCS car in any class do a 2:17
and it
on
sticks
this
out
track.
so strikingly, because that car is right at the top. We'll get you confirmation on what happened to Mitchell Chia's Wing Hin Motorsports car.
Do you know what? It might actually be the transponder itself.
Yeah, perhaps.
Maybe that fell off 2:17 into the track, and that was it. But a lot of technical things, of course, in each of these cars. And F1 by far the most promoted motorsports in the world, and you don't really get to understand that these cars have exactly the same moving parts as an F1 car, except they're just, as I said, they're road cars. So a lot more can go wrong. Now, this is, in fact, Mitchell Chia's car.
So we were right. There must have been some, what looks like a tire problem, perhaps?
Well, I like to put these things down into 2 categories. If the car is outside and in the pit lane, then it's an okay problem. But if they roll it back into the garage, then that's a much deeper problem for our previous leader.
Yeah, especially so maybe not 2:17, but we can confirm that Mitchell Chia was definitely the race leader before that car had to be hauled up into the garage.
Well, it just goes to show again, you know. I mean, these guys work day and night, and they try their hardest to get these cars set up. As I said, there have been some nightmare stories over the last decade as to trying to get these cars set up, because they don't have the same access to parts as an F1 team as everyone else.
Yeah,
they
precisely.
literally have to source these parts from around the circuit, or sometimes even other teams will lend them bits to get it going again. And then when it comes to race day, when you've got to get it all set up and tuned together for 50 minutes and push it to the max, it can be a bit of a problem. And it's heartbreaking to see when they've only done 6 laps and they're already in, especially when it's a front runner. This is all worked into the favor of this car right here, the all-new Hayden Heikel.
Who's now developed over a 4-second lead. slowly pulling away.
Yeah, he has.
He's benefited massively from Mitchell's setback.
And just behind him, Winghin Motorsports, the 39 car, that's a sister car to Mitchell Chia, is also hanging around at just the right area, about 5 seconds back from this #1 car. And for me personally, it's always good when the #1 car with the #1 written on it is #1. You know,
Gives you so much of a sense of confidence to get in that car, right? Seeing one.
Well, I mean, it's different in F1. If you become the world champion, you can have #1 written on the car.
Yeah.
So the following season, that usually works out. But that's a great number to have on your car if you know for a fact. And Hein Nigel is one of the most confident drivers. Seriously, though, Nick, how old is he now?
Early 20s.
I've been watching him since he was 14 on this track. So
he's been in the scene that long. But what really saddens me is that the fact we couldn't see that rivalry play out again between him and Mitchell Chia. Perhaps we'll get a chance to witness them
of the season,
go at it tomorrow.
Or even tomorrow. That's the other thing. If you do have a bit of a nightmare on race 1, then there is always race 2 to try and get a little bit of redemption, should we say, for.
But apart from Mitchell's setback, I think it's been fairly great out there. All drivers still on track. They're all just trying to better their lap times with every passing lap.
Yeah, this is the good kind of development phase of the race because it is still just before the mass pit stop, and you're really flooring this car. You can essentially put it through its paces. As you can see, everybody's settling in nicely. Once again, and while this happens, you'll remember a driver called Adi Rahimi, who won EMCS and became an MCS driver. Well, he's talking to Mio in the pit right now.
All right, now guys, I'm down here in the pits together with Adi Rahimi, car number 511. Alvin, your teammate is actually on the tracks right now. You didn't know apparently that Alvin got a 30-second penalty. You don't know what happened actually. But how does that prepare you? The fact that you know there's a penalty coming, 30-second time penalty, you need to get that back when you're on the track. How does that influence you in your driving?
All right, so for me, if that's the case, with that penalty, it's okay. Nothing to be worried about that. I just focus on my driving, head down, and then just focus every lap, push as best as I can.
Push the best as you can. Obviously, the fact that this is round number 2, we've had the first race last month. How has it been for you? The fact that, we had a bit of a break, you had some time in training, understanding more of the track. How does that prepare you?
Okay, so for me, I just joined this round 2. Round 1, I didn't join. So I had a few time with the car only. So for me, it's okay. I just focus to do my best with the car, just adapt with the car, and then I just give my best because we have no pressure. Because we are the underdog team, so we just give our best. Nothing to lose.
All right, okay, nothing to lose. Obviously, just do your best. You're about to jump into your car very, very soon, so good luck to you, Adi.
All right.
All right, Jeev, Nick, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Mio, and we do apologize for the slightly crunchy signal there, but those RF signals down in the pits, you can imagine so many radio frequencies going around.
And there he runs off. I think he's going to take over now.
Yeah, no, that was a very well-timed interview just before he gets in.
Before. And he's got a lot of ground to make up, Jeev. As the interview was going on, I was just watching the monitor. He was in 19th place.
Well, he's been such an impressive driver for me anyway, because I remember seeing, I think it was the 2018 season, or maybe even a bit later, 2019, where he was just playing video games. And, in the race room simulators, won that tournament, and the whole part of the competition was if you win the tournament, you get a drive in the MCS itself. Came in, won 5 on the truck.
That's the beauty of esports. Right now, it's birthing all these new generation drivers.
There is no better story for development in motorsports than that story.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
Him playing video games, literally, and then suddenly becoming a much better driver. And of course, since then, he has picked up racecraft. actual racecraft. Now that is Wing In Motorsports, that is the 39 car, so Nabil Aslan and Amir Jeffrey helming that car today, and that is currently in second, 7 seconds back from Hayden Heikel, who's also just put in the fastest lap. Hayden Heikel now the only driver that has hit 2:33 today.
Not his fastest lap
Not his
today,
fastest lap, no.
but fast enough.
Yeah,
Fast enough to hold on to that.
2:32.042 is actually the fastest lap that we've seen from anyone today.
They all started out pretty competitively in terms of lap timings. 2:32s and 2:33s were quite abundant, but you can see them being spaced out as we move along.
Yeah.
Now we stand at lap 9.
You know, a lot of people don't realize exactly what factors you need in place to put in a fastest lap. You actually need a relatively clear track because you cannot get held up in any kind of traffic jam, and then you can really push it. Well, that's Ali Rahimi out of the pits. And that looked like a pretty standard pit stop so far. So really just, oh, in fact, you know what? Go Li Heng and Gilbert Ang from Tedco Racing are also in the pits right now. And as far as I know, the pit window is still not open yet. So that is another car.
If you scroll down to the bottom, Jeev, you'll see
that
actually
there's
quite a number of
no, that's right. Leona Chin also from the Castle Racing team. Leona, one of the great stories, first female winner of an MCS race and championship actually, and she's done very well at S1K as well, but got hit in round 1, was looking for, for sponsors after that, and actually went, I follow her on Instagram, and there was a lot of, you know, great to see that kind of side of it as well, that you never see that. But she managed to get Castle Racing team, and now is back in, and now she's in the pits again.
And she came from another dynamic of motorsport racing. She was a kart drifter.
Yeah.
Started a career in drifting.
Fact,
you know, made her name, carved her name in drifting, and now she's in endurance.
And I'll tell you the other thing I got from Instagram is she actually tours China as well. She does a lot of racing up there. So very active in the motorsport scene. Absolutely loves her motorsports, of course. And we do hope that she gets out of the pits as soon as possible. Lewis Liu, R Engineering, also in the pits. R Engineering, possibly, if not actually, the most successful team in Malaysia Championship Series history. I'm saying that because in the last six or 7 years, they have dominated in multiple categories, not just in touring production, but in SP2 as well, and SP1. Lai Wei Singh's great team. So it's odd to see them in the pits now, but I said there is an issue. Obviously, the pit window is not open, and we've seen about 6 cars already in there.
Yeah.
So coming round for lap 10, and roughly halfway through this race. Remember, 50 minutes plus leader. And this race 1. So if you have just joined us, and really just joined us, it's a 2-race format. And race 2 tomorrow will be 10:45 to 11:40 in the morning, local Malaysian time. Lots of cars coming into the pits now, and I do wonder, it is between the 25th and 40th minute, so we haven't had any official call for it, but a lot of cars coming to the pits, and I wonder if the pit window has secretly opened. Certainly driver changes happening. Yeah, and there's confirmation at the top of your screen that it is in fact open. So now this is the second phase. After that development phase, you make sure you get a good start. You get your development phase, then you have to execute this pit window perfectly. And what I mean there is only 2 people working on the car, which is perfectly shown there. Technically that's 3, but 2 mechanics on the outside. That's the main bit. And when they've come in, these guys have all come in early. I can tell you now, the likes of High Rev Dream Chaser have come in. Rahul Raj Maya will probably be getting into that car. Honda Malaysia have come in as well, the 26 car, Faris Fauzi and Alvin Baha.
Our top three have not come in though. They're still out there. They're still
no,
battling it out.
they're opting for the late strategy, which is perfectly fine. There's only 2 MTC cars that are really out of sync at the moment. That's Tedco Racing and still Winghin Motorsports number 36, still in the pits, and has been in the pits for 15 minutes.
That seems to be a big issue with that car.
Well, it's a big chunk of a 50-minute race, let's face it.
Yeah.
And so that has essentially killed, I mean, he's fast, Mitchell Chow. He's not 217 fast, but he is fast. And if you give him a decent amount of time and a decent car with a decent performance, he'll get you.
He'll make that run up, yeah.
But the time is the issue here. You take 15 minutes off his race, and you've only given him 35 minutes, while this man here, Hayden Heikel, is just, well, jetting along nicely.
I think they'll time it. They'll time to come in together, the top three, because as long as Hayden Heikel's out there, the likes of Nabil Noor Azlan, Putra Adam will not want to let up and try and make up as much ground as possible.
Well, absolutely. I mean, he's average lapping at 2:33, Hayden Heikel. And he's also, because, you know, he's run solo runs in MCS, in TP, I think maybe even in S1K, I'm not sure. That would be near suicidal to do that. But
unthinkable.
Yeah, but I mean, long stints. There are actually laws and regulations as to how long a driver can stay in the cockpit for safety standards alone. And it's roughly about 40 minutes for an hour. So you should really change. And you can tell if it's 40 minutes an hour, then in a 50-minute race, a great part of that you can do. But on top of that, a sprint race, you can wax off solo. He's done all of it. So I'm sure if there's radio communication going on now between him and his brand new friends at High Rev Dream Chaser,
yeah,
it's going to be, don't worry, I can do this. And they're like, do you want to come in? It is a very hot day.
Because it's not an issue of refueling or anything. There's no refueling allowed anyway, right? So as long as the car is able to last the pace and push it right up till the end of the pit window, I think he'll be okay to take his time to come in.
Especially if he's reading the way the race is evolving, then for sure, absolutely, he'll stay out there right till the end, because after this stage, which is the pit window stage, comes the closing of the race, you know. Well, we can get down the pits again right now, and Mio is with another driver, car number 19.
All right, now I'm down here together with Bradley Benedict, car driver number 19 from DV Motorsport, actually in P2 for SP2V. That was a great race that you just handled.
Yeah, I think starting from P8, on the first lap I've recovered the positions, but we're still lacking some parts in our car, but we know where it is, so hopefully we get to fix it for the next race or maybe next round. But we are lacking the top speed, and that's where we are losing out today. Yeah. But other than that, we could manage it well.
Like you said, an achievement in itself already, from P8 right up to P2. Now you have handed your car to your partner who's going to be bringing it to the finishing line. Any expectations, regardless of what you said about your conditions of the car?
I mean, still quite tough because we have the time penalty from last round from finishing P2, so we have an extra 12 seconds compared to the other competitors. But the car looks good, and we hope we can make the best out of it and finish on the top 3.
So tell us a bit, what was the penalty about within the previous round? What actually happened?
It's from finishing the top 3 in the race before. So the top 3 gets extra 15 seconds, 12 seconds, and 8 seconds respectively. Yeah. Okay. So we have the 12 seconds from finishing P2 last round.
All right. So we're going to see you on the podium, whatever it is.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. All right, thank you so much. All right, back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Mio. Just a bit of clarification. They're actually 6th in class in SP2V. And also that extra time isn't actually a penalty, as we watch the Winghin Motorsports 39 in the pits, and that is Nabil Noor Azlan, Amir, Haris Jeffrey. So one of them, whoever wasn't driving that first stint, is now going to be getting into that car, and they are about 20 seconds off the leader. But yeah, that extra 12 seconds is like success balance. So if you finish in the top 3 for an MCS race, then they add, as a performance balance, a performance measure, 10, 20 or 30 kilograms extra weight strapped on officially to your car. And for the last couple of years, it's not only been that weight, but it's also a couple of extra seconds that they have to either do in the race or at the pits. This is the car, well, it's being pushed backwards. That's never a good sign. I think they were just getting it nicely into there.
So out of the top 3, Jim, so far, only Hayden Haikal is still out there. Nabil has pitted, the car that we just saw, and Putra Adam and Avila Baha had come in earlier. So interesting strategy perhaps from Hayden Haikal.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 17 minutes left in this race, so
It's got to come in the next 2 minutes, I would say.
And then give like a, 5-minute window to his partner. Jonathan Z, by the way, we were saying, one of the fastest drivers, is actually topping SP2G now with his partner Kwek Kian Wee for Scuba Racing Team. 22 Pro Shop, ex-Papaya Racing, fantastic name for a racing team, by the way. That's Mohammed Najib Ismail and Amit Firdaus Azman topping SP2B, and I think we can see now that car is finally coming in, so we were right. I mean, you can't push it any further than that.
Yeah, the pit window is about to close. I think it's the right time. He has what, over 20-second lead, if I'm not mistaken. My goodness.
Now, remember, the driver getting in that car, and he's getting in right now, as you can see, that's Lee Wai Chong. Race one in round 1, so very fast driver that's been given the ideal situation, and that is to have a good, solid lead. Look at that Wing Hin Motorsports car come out first, but I actually think that car is now a lap behind, so it's not going to be for track position. And a little bit of...
It's a little bit of strategy play as well by High Rev Dream Chaser, because Lee Wai Kong initially partnered Daim Hishamuddin in the first race. But now that Hayden Haikal's come in, Lee Wai Kong's got a new partner. He was the first driver in the first race. He's taking over the wheel this time. So it's just a matter of trying to keep that lead intact, maintain that momentum.
Where you put the pit window, where you put yourself in the pit window, and also who you put in first and who you put in second. And when you've got the likes of Hayden Heikel in your team, you can either have a blistering start of probably a great qualifying session as well, just like he did today, or you can have him come in and try and rescue the race in the end. So today they've done very well, Wai Chong and Hayden, in their strategy, in their kind of system as to who's coming up. Ronnie Risman is in pit as well. That was 3rd place from Piston Project. And this is interesting because, of course, I said that the 39 Wing Hin Motorsports car was a lap behind. Now, lap is about 2.5 minutes. And Hayden Heikel and Lee Wai Chong have to stay in pit for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah.
And that's where you get these little overlaps that make all the difference. So all eyes are right now on this car and how quickly. This is turn 9 going up to turn 10. So another 4 corners, and that car is going to be back on the home straight. And it might just come out at exactly the right time for a big 15-minute run.
This is a very interesting phase of the race because they're still in pit.
Have to stay in pit as well.
They have to stay in pit. Hey,
for
Lee
another
Wai Kong
25 seconds.
Has pretty much the entire track to himself, so he can really put the pedal to the metal and really try and outdo the best lap time.
I think he's around
no hindrance in front of him.
That's turn 14. So 10 seconds left on the High Rev Dream Chasers team before they can leave. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Times it perfectly. And can we see the Wing Hin Motorsports car? No, it should be just coming through at the top. There you go, turn 15. So almost. There he is, just at the top of your screen. Fantastic play by High Rev Dream Chaser. And that's what it's all about. That's a great example of how to use the pit window well, because now they are fresh wheels, fresh driver, and they still have, now they're both on the same lap. As soon as Wing Hin comes through. So it looks like it's, well, you know what, he might still be just behind him. right now coming through turn 12, that looks like. In fact, that should be turn 8. That should be section 2. But what a reliable car. So we'll be back with the conclusion of this race very soon. We're just going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
The stage is set for another epic Sepang showdown.
So, back here with the Malaysia Championship Series. This is round 2, race 1. It is MTC, SP2G, and SP2V that have been out on track now for almost 45 minutes, and it's this car that has dominated from start to finish. High Rev Dream Chaser.
Look at that lead, Jivan.
Yeah.
It's a massive, massive lead, and it will take some undoing.
And I think that with this situation, that Wing Him Motorsports will settle for second in this respect. You don't want to push the car. You're not really going to get anywhere. In 9 minutes, you're not going to get into a 17. I mean, you can actually break that down. You've essentially got just over 3 laps left in time. So, you know, you need to basically pull in 17 seconds in 3 laps.
But having
6
said
seconds
that,
a lap.
A lot of things can happen between now.
No, absolutely.
and
But you know,
race.
with Wing Hin lapping at 2:34, that means they're going to have to put in 2:28 to catch.
That's
in any given situation. Okay?
quite impossible on these machines, right?
You can't do that. But as you said, anything can happen. A quick hit here, a quick shunt here, and the worst one is where you just increasingly lose power because of a powertrain problem or a fuel problem, or you know, a brake problem, and that can make a difference. But I think in this case, that High Rev Dream Chaser team has been keeping that car in good nick. Wing Hin have done really well. They had a good shot with that pit window strategy, and if you think about it, they were about 927 meters off in terms of the straight. You know, if they'd cleaned up their pit stop just a couple of seconds early, and it's so difficult with the 3-minute minimum compulsory time, then it would have happened. So they would have had to make that time up before the pit, and that, of course, gets back to your lap times again.
And they've done really well to actually keep Honda Malaysia Racing team at bay, because they have been at them since the start of the race as well. Putra Adam, Avila Bahar.
Yeah, only 3 teams have hit the 232 mark, and that's Tyre, Dream Chaser, Winghin Motorsports, and Honda Malaysia Racing Team. The top 3. Everyone else, well, just one on 233. That's Faris Fauzi and Baha, and then it's then it goes straight to 236, 230. Well, no, that should be a 233, 242. So yeah, those are the kind of times you'd expect from an average run out. And it also shows you the variance if you pick the right racing line, if you're a little bit shorter here, if you're a little bit earlier on the brakes or later on the brakes.
Yeah.
It all translates into the most valuable commodity in motorsports, time. And however you can cut that down, and once again, we'll use the 217 example. If you can find me a Suzuki Swift that can make a lap of the Sepang International Circuit in 217. You know what? I'm just going to check now to see if Mitchell Chia is still logged. Yes, he is. He's still logged as his last lap at 217.316.
I think that was the last we saw of him, right?
Yeah,
that was like a good half an hour ago.
His best lap is logged at 232.967. So definitely something went on with that transponder there. That's not quite right. So this is S Production 2. Just before the end, 6 minutes left. Let's have a quick run through as to who's winning what. High Rev, Dream Chaser, Winghin Motorsports, and Honda Malaysia Racing Team, top 3 in MTC. Scuba Racing Team, that's Jonathan Z and Kwek Kian Wee. TD Racing and R Engineering, top 3 in SP2G. And, well, it's Stuart Hine and Nathan Daly once again for Axel Sports. They scored podiums in race 1 and race 2 of SP2V in round 1. And they're going to get another podium right here in race 1 of round 2 as we watch a bit. Well, you've just lost a bumper. That was Jonathan Z, in fact.
Correct. Still topping the SP2G class, and really it's been, I think, a redemption so far for Jonathan Z.
Well, he's now going to have to do these last 2 laps without a back bumper, as you can see here. He just lost control of it a little, and that's a bit too much onto the dirt. And something, oh, in fact, you know what? That wasn't his bumper.
It wasn't his,
It was somebody else's bumper. Well, there you go. You see these little pieces of luck you find in the Malaysia Championship Series? You look behind you, you've still got a bumper. Amazing. So now 16 seconds ahead. And SP2V, as I said, Stuart Hine, Nathan Daly, Axel Sports ahead of 22 Pro Shop and Danny Chin, who's running as an independent race uncle. Danny. And we're going to have to conclude that Bay Racing Team, Castle Racing Team, Mitchell Chia, and Knight Racing Team have all been DNFs. That's not keeping it on the black stuff at all. Lucky. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a infringement for that, for taking track position by not staying on the track. That's also a very big thing with race control. But you know what? There have been a couple of penalties, but we should be very thankful that it's actually been a really well-marshaled race in terms of the drivers all respecting each other. They don't usually respect each other.
Very crucial, Jeef. We didn't have any full course yellow. Which
yes.
Well, I'm touching wood as we speak.
4 minutes left, so yeah. Didn't have that. Yes, the weather's been fantastic as well, and it's all set up nicely for the second race, which will be 10:45 tomorrow morning. Still to come, of course, touring production in SP1, the half-hour sprint race, and that's at 1:40, which is just over an hour from now. It's time to go out and see some of the activities around the Sepang International Circuit, and of course grab some lunch. Well, a little bit of congestion up at turn 1, but still no significant problems for the High Rev Dream Racer team.
There has been a change, and in the SP2G category, the combination of Leston Neo and James Russell.
Yeah, that's right.
They've overtaken Kwek Kian Wee and Jonathan Z.
Well, that's Stuart Hine and Nathan Daly in the Axel Sports car. We can't tell you exactly which one is behind the wheel right now, but both of them very competent drivers, and I'm expecting it to be Stuart Hine because he's the one that finished both races in round 1. So, Axel Sports, of course, the brainchild of former Malaysian, the only Malaysian F1 driver. I think you know who that is. Mr. Alex Young. Alex,
Indeed.
if you're watching, fantastic job on Axel Motorsports. And of course, his son is also racing as well, right?
Yes, indeed.
Alistair. Oh, there you go. I spoke a little bit too soon. The 99 car is off. And it looks like it's really off as well and not coming back. And that...
It's Danny Chin and Fu Yung
Oh,
Chie.
wow. Danny Chin was having such a great run as well.
They were
So
fourth.
there is a team. Eyewear is the team. So that is tragedy for Fu Yung Chia and Danny Chin, and both of them very experienced in terms of MTC. And we've seen them racing these cars for a good 10 years now, at least. So they're going to be a little bit heartbroken at the fact that they've just dropped out of a top 4 position. So 146 left, halfway through the final lap. I'm sure this is going to be called the last lap, but we will get an indication of that as they pass the start line. And it's going to be more points for Hayden Hankook. Said we're not going to give you the running official point standing
Not just yet.
tomorrow. Tomorrow, as we get to this part of the race, we'll give you a brief understanding. But of course, you know, don't take our word for it. Get onto the sepangcircuit.com website and just click on point or Malaysia Championship Series and point standings, and you've got all the information you need. And not just information, all your chances to book open track days and 20% discount tickets for the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia.
A really high ref Dream Chaser picking up where they left off from last season. By the looks of it, podium finishes last month.
So this is the last lap. We've just got official confirmation of it, and there you go. You've got official confirmation of it as well. What a race. 18 laps in the end. In bright, look at the heat haze coming off the... You know, there are things we take for granted for racing in Asia.
Especially
but,
sitting in our commentary booth where it's so,
exactly.
so cool.
And wherever you are watching from around the world, if you live in a cooler climate, all that shaking is got... These are HD, you know, footage that's coming off these screens. That's heat haze that's doing that. It's very hot. I'm not even going to try and estimate what the track temperature is, but we've seen track temperatures go up to 54, 55 degrees here at Sepang, and it is a very hot day today. It is a trial if you're a driver, no matter what class of car that you are driving. It's either very hot or it's very wet.
Especially with the suits that you're wearing.
Exactly, that's about 4 kilograms at least of extra stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of protective gear, the helmet, the fireproofs, and you know, these cars do not have the advantage or ability to have a big, hefty, heavy air conditioning unit in there as well. It's just not like that. So there is, as you see, windows open, and there are a couple of vents that are put in as well, but you have to be in peak physical condition if you're going to make even one race, and that's of any
And then the
length.
driver's physical fitness also comes into play. You got to be physically fit to get behind that wheel and withstand all this.
Now, and then you take everything I just said about weather and heat and rain and heavy weight, and then you multiply that by 9 hours, and you've got S1K. The biggest test you can get. So, closing in on the end, and this should be the final gambit for this #1 car. And that is Amir Harris Jeffrey now, who is a capable understudy. I'm going to say understudy. I'm no disrespect to Amir at all, but Hayden is, I think, the #1 now in this team. And they are on the back straight, which means it's one more corner. And High Rev Dream Chaser are going to claim the checkered flag after this corner. Don't mess up behind these two cars. Take a nice, easy middle road line. Yes, that's what. There's 3 racing lines on turn 15, and they took the middle one. You don't want to take the wide one. So, checkered flag is waved, and we have our first finisher. So, it's
been an impeccable race, I have to say, from that combination, Lee Wai Kong and Hayden Haikal.
Yeah, they've done very well. 19 laps. You know, they put in the fastest lap of the race, 2:32.042, and that's what you need to do really in a 19-lap race. And they were averaging about 2:33 for the rest of them as well. So
yeah, and they set the fastest lap time pretty early on, and they were just more than happy to contend and really keep pace and ensure that their position at the top wasn't tested, and it wasn't really tested at any given point of this 19-lap race.
So, as you see the stats for our winning car, it's Nabil and Amir did come in second with Wing In Motorsports, and a very quiet Putra Adam and Avia Baha for this first race.
You'll still be happy with that podium finish?
They'll be happy with turning up third, of course, but I usually expect him to see him fighting somewhere. Faris Fauzi in fourth there for MTC, and SP2G will be the next finishers that'll be coming through. Just to round that off, Goli, Hang, Gilbert, Ang, and Tedco Racing did get up and running again. They had a bit of a scare midway through the race, and they should be finishing now in fifth. Rahul Rajmaya, High Rev Dream Chaser, the other car, the 100 car, that's in sixth. And Ronnie Risman and Gladys Lam are seventh and eighth. That's the MTC category. And SP2G, it is Lester Neo and James Russell that come through in the top spot. Chin Eng and Timothy Yeo from Sakudo Shenzhou Racing. That's a new team for this year. Jonathan Z in the end has relinquished that top spot for Scuba Racing, so something happened to them in the last lap.
Yeah, unfortunately, they were leading for most parts of the race, and eventually they have finished. Still got the podium finish though, but I don't imagine they'll be too pleased with themselves having led for most parts.
No. That's like dropping a 2-1 lead in football in the 90th minute. That's not going to go down well at all. Adam Mikal and Lai Wee Singh are engineering in fourth in class, and Wong Yu Chung from Motor Awesome Racing in fifth, and those are the top five in SP2G. So SP2V is now also finished, and believe it or not, Stuart Hine and Nathan Daly, that looked also uncatchable for Axel Sports, were caught by Divyesh Barajan, who has taken top spot. So Bradley,
and they were at sixth. Remember when that interview was going on? Right. Oh, what a race. So they had that 12 seconds to make up as well.
So Divyesh did really well in that second stint for that car. There it is, the number 19 car, and it's performed very, very well indeed. So he's taken first, Axel Sports in second, 22 Pro Shop in third, HG Racing Team in fourth, sorry. As they get into Parc Fermé, these cars will get scrutinized, of course, and we will get you the official results in just a minute. Right now, it's all about celebrations for these two. On cue, there you go. Can't be too good for the car, but still.
Well, there was not much really for Wai Kong to make up ground or catch up. He just had to maintain that lead, and really, with the experience that he had, I think it was just a matter of him keeping composed, because he didn't really have Nabil or Amir Harris right in his rear for him to pay a lot of attention to. He just had to focus on his driving, just focus on keeping that lap times consistent.
It's also about, as I said, the teamwork of it. I did say it at the time that if you get handed that car at the right time when it's performing well, and that's what Hayden Heikel literally handed him off, a perfect situation. So, you know, you can go two ways there. You can either keep it neutral and win, you can do even better and outshine him, or you can lose that lead that your teammate worked so hard to get for you. So he did well enough, and it has to be neutral or advanced, obviously. So he's done well enough. I think so far in this race, after many years of watching him race, Divyesh Barajan is actually my MVP in SP2V, because, you know, he's had a long journeyman kind of run, and
amazing to take it from 6th place to the top spot.
Exactly.
And he had only, I think, what, 12 laps?
Less.
Less than that.
Less than that. It's probably about 8 laps in the end. And came through and So again, Bradley Benedict gave him a specific situation.
A good enough momentum,
and
yeah.
that could have left it at 6th. That would have been neutral, but instead he came through and took out one of the big teams so far in SP2V, which has been Axel Motorsports. So these are the full results. And looking at the MTC, well, there you go. Wai Chong and Hayden Heikel up front, 51-58. Nabil and Amir in second, 12 seconds back. Putradam and Avir Bahar in third. So those are the big money point winners. Faris Fauzi and Aaron Lim in fourth. Goli Hang, Gilbert Ang in fifth. Rahul Raj, Ronnie Risman, Gladys Lam, and Yukoi San taking us up to ninth, with Mitchell Chia, of course, by nature of the fact that he retired some 14 laps back in 10th. For SP2G,
Lester Neo and James Russell tops that category, followed by Chin Eng, Timothy Neo, Kwek Kian Wee. Johnny Z will be slightly displeased with themselves, but still takes the podium fault. Adam Mikal in 4th place, Wong Yi Chong in 5th, Inigo Anton in 6th, Bi Sun Eddie Liu in 7th, Teo Hong Zhao in 8th, Akila Chandra in 9th, Alvin Teo Adi Rahimi in 10th.
and looking at 11th to 20th, Yip Kian Hong from TD Racing, Azrael Azhar, Daniel Rain, Leon Koo, another finish, but way down the grid this time. Syed Moed Rizal, Peter Chong, Tae Kian Bun, Skyling, Bernard Chan, and Chong Chi on up to 20th. And not done yet with this big grid. Lao Seng Kiat, Ip Tak Meng, Justin To, Loken Jun, Kuso Kanto. Wow, double winner from last,
what happened
last
there?
round. What happened there? And if you can see those last three as DNFs. So SP2V.
Like you mentioned, Jeev, Divyesh Purajun and Bradley Benedict, what a magnificent race by both of them. Stuart Hine and Nathan Daly in 2nd place. Najib Ismail completes podium. Shafiq Shamsuddin in 4th. Lawrence Lim in 5th. Alan Tia in 6th. Lee Chi Wah in 7th. Project S is in 8th place. William Kong of R-Works Rios is in 9th. And Law Vicky in 10th.
Nico Sivali in 11th. That's the other Axel Sports car. Bay Racing, Dot Eyewear, Danny Chin. Oh, so close, but so far. Louis Liu and Leona Chin, all, of course, DNFs at various points during this 19-lap race. So, nice sunny day and very hot day, as you can see, but all the cars safely into Parc Ferme, and this is how it all played out. It was trash talk on the grid as Hayden Heikel, of course, made his start again in his new team. Lester Neo and James Russell in the end would have a great run, and the big grid for MTC and SP2 staggered, of course, but as we got underway, there was a lot of action. So this was actually SP2V and SP2G start, and there was a little bit of congestion, and this was probably the only incident that we saw just at turn 14, but it also, as usual, gets very tight up at turn 1. Just saw that new Shenzhou racing team up front. So as it all settled down, there were some fantastic pit strategies as the pit window opened just after the 25th minute.
Like you said, an achievement in itself already from PA.
And you can see there was a little bit of damage, and that was actually the damage that Jonathan Z drove over. But for the general overview of this race, it was all about that number 1 car. Dominated, it cut its way through the back markers, and
We've had the first race.
dominated this 39 Winghin Motorsports car that was good, but on the day, just not good enough to take top spot, but they'll be happy with the 2nd spot that they got. And this was the number 27 car. A lot of big battles in SP2V and SP2G as we went through the 19 laps. But again, safe to see everyone come through, and it was the checkered flag for High Rev Dream Chaser. They've seen a lot of them in the past, but this moving into halfway point of the season means that they are nicely set up for round 3. And it's all smiles and a little bit of, well, I think it was champagne, but
I think it's water in the face right away.
Water, 100 plus maybe. Yeah, it was water. It was water. They don't want to risk the cars like that. So we are going to take a break now, but do stay with us.
stage is set for another epic Sepang showdown. The world champion. He's back now on course, a pole here in Malaysia. No, he's gone down. Attacking too hard. Just going in too hot into turn 4. You almost thought that was coming.
Welcome to the Sepang International Circuit for the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia. You want to be here at the Sepang International Circuit for the Malaysian GP. Why? Because of the mega lucky draw. That's right, there's going to be 3 R25 motorcycles to be given away to any one of you. 3 in fact, for all of those main grandstand ticket holders. This is actually a collaboration between SIC and Racing Board just for MotoGP.
Harapan saya pada minggu ini adalah untuk berada di kedudukan hadapan dan saya ingin cuba fight sehabis baik untuk berada di kedudukan poin. Kalau podium itu bonus buat saya, so jangan lupa datang support saya.
racing in the sprint here in Malaysia, and Bagnaia has made the superb start from that some pole position. He's going for it on the inside. It's going to be really, really close. He's going to run in hot, and Bagnaia will just cut to the tight inside line. Here comes Martin through as well. Alex Marquez storms to a sprint sensation here in Sepang. He wins it by nearly 1.6 seconds.
So hari ni kehadiran saya memang untuk Peko Bagnaia. Peko punya motor terlalu banyak aerodinamik, so bila dia keluar corner untuk pick up a bit slow, keluar corner je memang George Martin. Sekarang ni memang George Martin yang paling laju lah.
Moto 3, it's a really good start from pole position by Yamamoto.
Here comes Sasaki, who's going to pick up a 2-bike slipstream. Is he late enough on the brakes to get through?
Next weekend! That's a huge high sign. That's Alonso who's gone down. Diogo Moreira's been caught up. It's a 4th crash of the weekend. Vaya it is then that still leads. Colin Vaya wins a Malaysian Grand Prix. Sepang lights out and underway here at the Sepang International Circuit. Kind of big risk to go without the game with a charity mistake. Oh, and Arbolino, but it's congratulations, Moto 2 world champion. It's Pedro Acosta. It's lights out and we're underway here in the Malaysian MotoGP race. Bagnaia looked like he initially missed the start, trying to gel with the factory. The Ducati really put him on the back foot as Martin goes for it on the inside of Bagnaia. On the cutback they go. They are shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow. The beast is back with a bang in Sepang. Enea Bastianini is a race winner for the first time on the factory Ducati.
Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart to all the board members, SSC staff, all the volunteers, all the medias, all the agencies that have helped us in making this event a successful one this year. A special thank you to the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Tourism Malaysia for the support that you have given to us this year. And for those who have not purchased the tickets for next year, you can go to our website www.sepangcircuit.com to purchase the buy one free one ticket for the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia 2024. And see you next year. Kasih gegar.
Welcome back to the Malaysia Championship Series Round 2, Race 1. That's MTC, SP2G and SP2V. And, well, in all honesty, if you've just joined us, then you've missed the race. But you can always catch it. It's been archived on the sepangcircuit.com YouTube and Facebook pages. And while we've got the time before the podium, don't forget a lot of other initiatives on that website as well that you can get involved with. And the Car Open Track Day is a wildly successful one where you can bring your own car up to this FIA Grade 1 circuit and strut your stuff on these 15 corners, but of course safely, because if you don't do it safely, they'll probably ban you from the track. But that's not, you know, as I said, that's not because of you, that's just the rules of the track. It's still a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to get your car onto this track and feel exactly what it is to drive on the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. About ready to get with the podium ceremonies. You can see some of the team members already there. And also the other thing you have to look out for on, well, this year is the biggest race of the year, and is, well, 182,000 people turned up last year. And if you want to be one of the 183,000 that turns up this year, then buy your ticket now because it's the mid-year sale. It's a 20% discount, and you can get your tickets at sepangcircuit.com. All the big names from MotoGP will be here.
It's great that we get to see this prize giving ceremony live. I think the first one was because there were too many races happening in Sepang, so we could not show that live. But
absolutely.
You know, it really does justice to the efforts that have been put in. By
Well,
all
there
these,
are lots of
podium
support
finishes.
races, and I think if you've been watching today, TCR Asia is also in town this week, and they use this track. But a lot of regional racing championships have come down to Sepang, and the Asia Classic Car Challenge is another one. The Caterham Championship is also another one. And if they do Lamborghini Trofeo, as you said, and I said if they do all stack up in the schedule for the day, then sometimes the trophy ceremony is postponed. But not today. I can see people already up there. I can see me already up there as well. We're right next to them in terms of the commentary box. And as soon as that starts, we will get back to you. Well, we've just heard a latest update that they are trying to get a podium ceremony up and running. But as we said, time is the most valuable asset in motorsports. And that TCR Asia Challenge is just waiting and revving to get underway. So we're going to see if we can get it to you or not. And as I said, if you do need to know any of the results as to who won today, then get onto sepangcircuit.com anyway, because they'll be posted up there and you can keep track of all your favorite heroes. But we will wait for more words and we'll get back to you as to the final decision on a podium presentation.
time for the podium ceremony for the Malaysia Championship Series 2024, round 2, race 1. We will start with the Malaysia Touring Car MTC category. Let's welcome the winners to the podium.
So we're back, and we've just heard over the public address system that the podium ceremony is taking place. So here we go. MTC up first. Well, that was a very good run from them. But couldn't quite do it today, Nick. They couldn't quite catch
the winner for the
these
MTC
guys.
category, car number 1, Tyre Dream Chaser, Lee Wai Chong and Hayden Haikal. We would now like to invite Mr. Seka Velo, head of IGU Petronas Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our third place winners. Mr. Seka, sir. And now I would like to invite Mr. Jeffrey Lee, Head of Procurement at Petronas Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our second place winners. Let's bring out the first place trophy presenter, Mr. Abdul Kadir, Head of Safety and Security, Petronas Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our MTC winner. And I would like to invite our presenters together with the winners for a group photo.
So that's the MTC podium. Great performance from Tyre Dream Chaser, Wingin Motorsports and Honda Malaysia. So SP2G will be next.
All right, congratulations once again to all the winners for the MTC category.
Guys, can you guys please be close here? All right, okay, look at the camera.
Thank you, winners. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the podium ceremony for the S Production 2G category. In third place, car number 177, Scuba Racing Team, Kwek Hyun Wee and Jonathan C. In second place, car number 919, Sokudo Shenzo Racing, Ng Chun Chin and Timothy Thomas Yeo. And your champions for the SP2G category, car number 53, TD Racing Team, Lester Neo and James Russell. And now once again we would like to invite Mr. Sekavello, head of IGU Petronas Sabah International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our third place winners. And now we would like to invite once again Mr. Jeffrey Lee, head of procurement, Petronas Sabah International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our second place winners. And now once again we would like to invite Mr. Abdul Kadir, head of safety and security, Petronas Sabah International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our champions for the SP2 G category. And now we would like to invite our presenters as well as our winners for a group photo.
So there you go, SP2G, the podium, and a great run from TD Racing Team, but also Scuba Racing Team. Well, they're going to kick themselves a little. They were in the lead right till the end, and then dropped to third.
All right, congratulations once again. Thank you to all presenters, and congratulations to the winners of the SP2G category.
So as they look to the sky for what I'm assuming is a drone photo, SP2V winners will be ready to get on the podium next.
All right, thank you, racers from the SP2G category. Thank you. Congratulations once again.
Thank you, bro.
And now we would like to conduct the SP2V category medal ceremony. In third place, car number 88, Race Rally KL, Shafiq Samsudin and Muhammad Iman Danish. In second place, car number 123, Axel Sports, Stuart Hine and Nathan Daly. And now, your winners for the SP2V category, car number 19, DV Motorsport, Divyesh Perajun and Bradley Benedict. And now we'd like to invite once again Mr. Sekavello, head of IGU Petronas Sabah International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our third place winners. And now, once again, we would like to invite Mr. Jeffrey Lee, head of procurement at Petronas Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our second place winners. And now we would like to invite our first place presenter, Mr. Abdul Kadir, head of safety and security, Petronas Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our S Production 2V categories winners. And now a group photo with our presenters and our winners for the SP2.
So finally, SP2V and Divyesh Prajun said fantastic performance in the second half of the race to get DV Motorsport up front, but Stuart Hine and Nathan Daly with yet another podium.
Congratulations to all winners for the SP2V category.
So with all of our winners here in round 2, race 1 for MTC SP2 awarded their prizes. All that's left for me to do is thank Nick Hannell for joining me here in the commentary box.
Thank you, Chief, and we'll be back soon.
That's right, because in just over an hour, it is round 2, race 1 for Touring Production and SP1. So don't miss that. Go and get yourself some lunch and then join us here in just over an hour. For us now, it's goodbye.
A very good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the Sepang International Circuit for the Malaysia Championship Series